You rolling? My people, it's your girl TREX here. I'm looking for something to lighten up our YouTube channel. I feel like I've been too serious, and I didn't plan for this. But then I'm in Google currently, and I'm looking for questions tag for Christian YouTube videos, and I'm seeing faith related icebreaker question. I don't know if I'm seeing here what makes witnessing a challenge for you. What makes witnessing a challenge for me? I don't think witnessing is a challenge for me. Or do you mean going out to evangelize? Basically, one thing I don't personally do evangelism, quote and unquote. That one that everybody will carry microphone and walk around. I don't really like it because most times there's usually no follow up, right? But then that's one reason why I like gospel teas. It makes it easy for me to start talking about Jesus. I remember when I used to wear my purity ring, it made it very easy for me to talk about purity, keeping your body is the temple of God, and it just helps you to avoid unnecessary soul tie, right? So I don't think anything makes witnessing difficult or a challenge for me now, but maybe then I would say because I was still maybe 5 years, 4 or 5 years ago, some bad characters that I had, right? But right now, I don't know. The only thing I'm being very careful about is to ensure that, because most of the times I'm around children and teenagers, so I'm being very careful so they don't see me as a god or as a perfectionist, that probably when I now do something they never thought I could do, would they would now fall. So I'm always being very careful. And that's why, especially with the children, I always share stories of when I was growing up, stories of how I used to steal, right? So they'll know that it's God that is helping all of us in this Christian journey, and it is possible to have done bad things and repent, right? So I would say one challenge is me trying as much as possible to ensure that the children or the teenagers don't see me as a mini God, but someone they can relate with, someone they can cry with, pray with, praise with, worship with, basically. Another question here is, what makes faith hard for you? I'll do this in a whole separate video. I would say one time the one time I know that, maybe not one time, but like is the one with the highest degree that my faith was tested, was when my mom had to go and be at the bosom of the Lord. Think I'm healing now. Overcoming a lot of things. So I know I've said it over and over again, but then I would definitely do that video very soon by God's grace. Another question, maybe I'll do 5 or 6 questions. What is your favorite parable that Jesus shared? Do I have one favorite parable? I don't think so. But then the two that is coming to my head right now is the parable of the sower and the story is shared about the 10 lepers, right? The parable of the 10 lepers just explained to me the importance of Thanksgiving and how Thanksgiving can make your testimony whole. And the parable of the sower just explains what Job 1, is it verse 6 says, that when the children of the Lord gathered, the children of the devil were there also. And it also explains the state of your mind. You necessarily don't have to be whole, but then the state of your mind is what would help you to be whole. And another parable, I know they said one, but just I shared so many parable. Is it the parable of the unforgiving servant? Is it the parable of the talent? That parable of the talent just explained that God does not waste resources. Well, yeah, so there are so many parables that if I begin to talk about, this video will turn to Bible study. Okay, okay. What is your favorite miracle Jesus performed? Turning water to wine. And I'm going to say that because Mount Zion acted the wedding weekend recently, and it just explained to me how God can really, really turn one's life around and make it sweet. You know, like even sweeter with God, life is sweeter, right? So I would say, yeah, that's one miracle. Do you know that recently we're studying about Jesus Christ healing the the child of the woman at the gate, the is it village gate or something? And I remember that day in church, I was, is it church or even the house? I can't remember when we were studying that. I was really angry. Maybe not angry, but then I was just thinking in my head, that God, why didn't you raise my mother? But then that's by the side. But then I think it didn't necessarily have to mean the dead earthly, like someone that died earthly would be will rise or that's but what that miracle explained to me basically is Jesus Christ can raise a dead situation. It can bring a dead situation alive, right? Yeah. What's your favorite story in the Old Testament? Ah, by the way, I didn't see these questions before, so it's not like I pre-thought the answer. But then I think it will be Ezekiel and the dry bones. I love that story a lot. What Bible character do you relate to the most? I don't know. I learn from all the Bible characters. Do I relate to personally? I don't know. I can't think of anyone at the top of my head. At the top of my head. Hmm. I think that's all I would answer, right? I believe in God. I trust in God. I'm a child of God. I believe in the gospel. Jesus Christ is the Son of God. He died for us on the cross so that we can live. I am a great believer and a great Bible student that believes that the Bible is still very, very relevant, even at a time like this. And yeah, I'm a child of God and I'm not shy to admit it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. I love you too.